Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sophia Jeeves, and I'm the Mood Lady, where we talk about all things mental health. Today's topic. So I'm starting a series on emotions and what their roles are, and how they play out in our lives. And so today we're going to talk about not any specific emotion for extended period of time. We're going to save separate videos for each of them. But today I just really wanted to talk about the role of emotions in our life. So I think that and I'm no expert, but like this is my perception of what they are and what their role is in our life. Feel free to disagree with me and put it in the comments, and we can have a conversation because I find this topic really, really interesting. So I think that emotions have like two major functions. Like I think that the first one is scientific and evolutionary, and the second one is intuitive and joy based. And I'll get into what that means when I get to that section. But let's go right into the first part, which is a very scientific explanation for what emotions are. So a scientist will say that there are emotions that come from a part of our brain that produces emotions, basically. Like there's a gland called the amygdala, and I apologize if I mispronounced it, or the hippo. Um, I was going to say hippopotamus, but there's another one that starts with an H, which I can't pronounce. But anyway, those are the ones that are, basically function, govern emotions in our body. And it's interesting because with emotional dysregulation, with ADHD, they talk about those hippocampus, I think it's called. Don't quote me on that. Where was I going? Yeah, so the emotions are based in that part of our brain, kind of left brain, right brain type of thing, logic versus emotion, right? And so a scientist will tell you that, emotions are mental states that are brought on by neurophysical changes in the body, that produce our thoughts and our feelings, Yes, that is possibly true. It's part of I mean, when I googled it, that Google said that there was no accordance of what to describe how to describe an emotion. There's so many different factors, but um, yeah. So I think that that is true. Like for instance, in evolution, before we were comfortable in our homes, before we for thousands and thousands of years, we were surviving in the wild, right? And so, parts of our brain where like the survive and fight or flight kind of idea came from, where it was like we were like attuned to danger all around us, and so that kind of over the course of centuries kind of got incorporated into our DNA. So I think that our emotions played a key role in our survival, and this survival meant, okay, we are meeting our basic needs to stay alive. And so I think that a lot of these emotions got programmed in our DNA over the course of the centuries, right? Like and we pass on our emotions to and our emotions and our emotional patterns and our beliefs to our children, which is, it's been scientifically proven that, we can transfer on our traumas to the next generation, right? So I always think about, when a baby's trying something for the first time, their reaction, we all think it's funny, but like their reactions are pretty visceral, right? And their emotions are telling them like, oh, this is disgusting. Oh, this is really, really sour, even though I don't know what this is, but it's making me feel things, right? And so yeah, so I think that we do pass things on, and babies kind of learn to react from things based on our reactions to things. So like if we freak out when they topple over, then they're going to freak out when they topple over. So they tell us, stay calm and say it's okay, you're fine, get back up again. So then they're like, okay, no problem, no danger, and get up and keep walking, right? So so yeah, there's that scientific kind of evolutionary role that emotions played. So now we'll move on to the what I call it emotional, intuitive, kind of joy based uh, role of emotions. Like I think that and not to go all crazy and like spiritual and stuff, whatever, on you guys, but I think that we're naturally like, when we come to this earth, like as babies, like we're naturally guided to good things and positive things. Like you might disagree with me on that. Like we're trying to, we go with what feels good, we go with what feels right, intuitively, but uh right, like we don't doubt if we're going to be fed again. We just know some, if we're raised properly, we just know that the next meal is going to come from someone that we trust and someone that we care about. All those types of things that, if you're nurtured properly as an infant, then you get to rely on and depend upon, right? So um but when we grow up in dysfunctional homes, like we're taught to kind of switch off that intuitive, it kind of we go back kind of into survival mode, and we just like meeting our basic needs, but we neglect really key and important parts of ourselves because we're not taught to, and because maybe our own family didn't even know how to do that. So for instance, this whole idea about telling little boys that, boys don't cry, I hate that. That makes me so mad, because are boys not human beings too? Do they not have emotions? Like, so we're basically telling, boys to kind of shut it down and toughen up. That's really for me, that's an absolute shame, because I think men need to cry just as much, or maybe not as much as we women. We're kind of more emotional for other reasons, but yeah, please don't tell your children not to cry. Tears are very valuable. I had a Reiki master once tell me that, every time we shed a tear, we release like 72 different toxins from our body. And so it's really, really, really important to let ourselves feel things. So that's the thing. Like when we don't know how, or we're not taught how, or we're raised in environments where it was not allowed, or we didn't have an opinion, we didn't like in my particular case, I'll give you an example. Like when I was struggling with depression, struggling with depression, I was in my head for so long, and was battling with it inside myself, just, telling myself to, toughen up, right? Toughen up. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna go for a run. You're gonna do all the things, right? And nothing was helping. And then um, one day I just realized that, like, I just can't hold it in anymore. It's just like, I'm just gonna, like, something would trigger it, and I would just have like a huge emotional, just kind of um, waterfall, where everything was just kind of coming out. And it's just like I realized that once I stopped fighting myself, and just ironically, once I stopped fighting myself and let everything go, all the frustration, all the emotion, all the sadness, all the pain, I ironically felt better. So like, that's what I'm saying. The emotions they play a really, really important role. They're like our guides, right? They're telling us something is wrong, and that for us to move towards health and happiness, we kind of have to release those feelings. And so if you are struggling with depression and anxiety, I'm gonna, encourage you to let yourself feel the feelings, and that it's okay to feel those. Like, I know we're told that all the time, but like how it filters down to us and our own internal mechanisms. Like, please validate your feelings, because whatever you're feeling is okay, and like, don't question it, and just feel it. Because once you allow yourself to feel it, the weight is gonna get easier. I know it's not the solution to everything. I know it's not a one, like, the cure to depression. There's no magic pill. But I know that our feelings are our guides, and listening to them is very, very valuable. Um, and if like, sometimes your family members, they don't know what the heck is going on. They don't know how to deal with it. So find somebody who can hold that emotional space for you, to let you, or do it on your own. Cry into a pillow, write it out, do the things. A good therapist, like one that's worth their weight, is gonna help you develop that emotional containment for yourself. Um, Even when you can't do it, they'll do it for you until you can. So to sum it all up, I think that our feelings are like huge, huge, huge. I consider them like a character in my life. Much like when I'm watching a show, like for instance, all my friends know that I'm obsessed with Outlander, and I always say that in the first season, Scotland, it's so beautiful. It actually plays a character in the show because it's so integral to the storyline and the history and everything. I think that emotions are like integral to who we are, right? So if we don't listen to them and we're not guided by them, we're gonna feel bad, because it's like your internal guidance system going, listen to me, something's up. I'm always jealous of like pets because they just live in the glory of their essence. They don't question it. A flower doesn't question when it's going to bloom. It just blooms at the right time, right? There's no right, like um so I'm going to end the video there just saying that they go hand in hand. And to go back to that, finally, that thing that I was talking about my friend, um like they're the fact that they play a role in our life and the fact that they do something for us is actually part of our rational constitution of our landscape, right? Or that doesn't make any sense. Part of our part of our internal landscape, and it plays kind of a rational role when you look at it from a certain point of view. So I remember having that discussion because I was always saying no, emotions are irrational, but they do play a rational role in our lives. So I'll give that to my friend, and I know she knows who that is. She knows who she is, I mean. And so that's it. That's the Mood Lady signing off, talking about the role of our emotions and how we should listen to them. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.